Hi YouTube, thanks for joining me. Today's video is all about repurposing products that didn't work for their intended purpose. So I've got 5 things that I've purchased over the years that for whatever reason they didn't work for what they were meant to do, but I found another way to use them, so I hung on to them. So the first thing I have here that's turned out to be a great product even though it didn't work for its intended purpose was this Bonne Eye Definer, which is an eyeliner pencil. And the reason it didn't work for its intended purpose was because I found it was too hard and too waxy to really work as an eyeliner. When I try to trace it along my lash line, it really pulls and drags because you have to press so hard to get the color to show up. So as an eyeliner, it was terrible, but I've hung on to it because it actually worked really well as a brow pencil. That same hard waxiness that made it suck as an eyeliner make it fantastic as a brow pencil, because it just goes in and you can just fill in lightly. This shade is Smoky, which is actually the perfect shade for my dark blonde eyebrows. I've never found any color of any other product that works as well to fill in my brows. And because it's hard and waxy, it tends to last all day without having to touch it up, which is not usually the case if I use a powder or something else to fill in my brows. So I've been really, really happy with this. I've repurchased it about 3 times now just to use as a brow pencil. The other great thing about it is it's cheap. These range from about $2 to $4 depending on where you buy them, and they come in a really wide range of neutral shades, so chances are you'll find one that will work for you as a brow corrector, so that's something to keep an eye out for. The next product I have here is the Revlon Illuminance Cream Shadow Quad, and the shade is Seashells, so these are all really pale colors that are meant to be like seashell type colors, and I bought these to use as shadow bases, so not as primer, but as a shade to just sort of give my powder eyeshadows something to stick to help intensify the color. So I was intending to use them over top of Urban Decay Primer Potion and then underneath my regular powder eyeshadows, and what I found is that even over top of Urban Decay Primer Potion, these crease. This is probably, in fact I think it is, the first thing I've ever found, the first shadow product that even Urban Decay Primer Potion can't make it last without creasing. And I think the reason for that is that these, when you apply them to the skin, they don't set. They stay creamy. And so what happens is they tend to really move around on your skin, especially on your eyelids. So they crease like crazy, which was really disappointing because they're such pretty colors. And I thought they would be perfect to wear, either as a shadow base or just alone for a nice, really soft, subtle look. They're such pretty pearly shades. They just have a really nice sheen to them, but they crease like crazy. They don't last long enough to make it worth it. So as eyeshadows or, shadow bases, they're terrible. But because I bought a quad in such light shades, and because they have that nice pearly sheen, they work really well as a highlighter to use either on your brow bone or on your cheekbones or down the center of your nose, above the cupid's bow, that sort of thing. They just have a really nice soft sheen to them that makes them great for highlighters. So even though they didn't work out for what I had hoped they would, they've turned out to serve another purpose in my collection, which makes me happy. The next thing is a product from Bare Escentuals, from their Bare Minerals line, and that is Bisque, which they market as a concealer. So it's a pretty heavy coverage powder. It's supposed to have a heavier coverage than their foundation powders, and it's meant to go over blemishes and dark circles and stuff like that. So while it does have a lot of coverage, the reason it doesn't work for me as a concealer is because it has kind of a weird purple hue to it. I don't know if the camera will pick that up at all, but I'm just trying to swatch it here. It just, when you blend it onto the skin, it's a very bizarre color for a concealer. I can't imagine that working for too many people to hide blemishes or under eye circles. In fact, when I try to use it on my under eye circles, it just makes them look even worse. So definitely don't recommend that as a concealer, But what it did work okay for was as a shadow base. So again, over top of my primer, just as a base to lay down to help intensify the colors that I put on top and to make them more blendable. So that's what I've been using that for. And the last two things I have to talk about are brushes. So I've got one here from EcoTools, which is meant to be a eyeshadow shader brush. The reason it doesn't work for me as a shader brush is because it's just too large. As you'll see, it's really fluffy, it's really thick, and so for packing color onto the eyelid, it's too big, and because it's so fluffy, I find that sometimes it just doesn't pick up the color evenly, especially when you're using really, really shimmery shades. Maybe I can do a little bit of a demonstration here. So this is Stila eyeshadow in Kitten, which is a really soft, neutral champagne color with a ton of shimmer in it. So that's what it looks like when I just swatch it with my finger. And then when I try to grab it with the EcoTools shadow brush, you'll see because it's so fluffy and some of the bristles are so spread apart, what happens is that some of that glitter sticks on the end of the bristles, and then when you go to apply it to your skin, it packs on a lot of glitter and you don't get much of the actual pigment on your skin, and it just applies the shadow really unevenly, and I don't like it. So I've not been happy with that as an eyeshadow shader brush. It just doesn't give you the nice intense even application that you really expect from a shader brush. But what I do use it for is to apply powder to my face if I want to apply powder to like a really small localized area like under eye circles. If I want to set my concealer with a bit of fine powder, this brush is perfect for going in and doing that, because you don't always want to take a huge fluffy brush around your eye area, you know, something like this, you know, it can be kind of tricky to get right there underneath the eye, so sometimes it's handy to have a small fluffy brush to do that job, and that's been great for that. And the last thing, another brush. This is from Face Secrets, which is the brush line that you can get at Sally Beauty Supply. And this is the smudge brush. So it's meant for going along your lash line and smudging out your eyeliner. So if you applied a pencil, you know, kohl pencil first, you could go along with this and trace over that line and help smudge it out to get a smoky effect. The reason I didn't like this brush for that purpose is I do find it's a little bit stiff and scratchy, which when you're working on that oh so delicate eye area and you're really trying to do some blending work and really smudge out that eyeliner, it really irritates my skin. And I have like zero tolerance for scratchy brushes around my eye area. So it didn't work as a smudger brush, but what I have been using it for is as a liner brush. So it does work fine to just take a cream product, something like this is a brush-on cream liner from Clinique. So it does work fine just for applying cream liner. It's much less irritating just to use it just a quick, you know, for a quick swipe of color, rather than rubbing it back and forth and trying to do any kind of blending with it. It's also not bad as a concealer brush. It's got a really nice, you know, it's tapered really nicely and comes to a nice point, and so you can use it for applying concealer to any blemishes you have, especially if you're finding that some of your other concealer brushes are too big for those smaller blemishes. So those are 5 things that I bought. They didn't work for their intended purpose, but I found another use for them, and so they've held their place in my collection. So I'm really curious to know what all of you out there have come up with in terms of repurposing some of those regrettable purchases. So let me know. Post it in the comments, or better yet, post a video response, and maybe we can get a conversation going about this topic, because it's really frustrating when you buy something and you're all excited about it, it doesn't work, and you just, you know, you're kind of at a loss for what to do. Sometimes you can't take things back if it's something you've ordered online, or maybe you bought it, you know, while you were shopping out of town, and if it's something you spent a lot of money on, then it's really kind of heartbreaking to find that it doesn't work. And so sometimes things can be repurposed and they may not work out, but you will find a way to use them that's maybe even better than what the intended purpose was. So those are just some ideas. Maybe you yourself have bought some of these products and been disappointed by them. Hopefully my tips will maybe breathe some new life into those products for you. So thanks for watching.